What is going on? What's going on, everybody? Let's go ahead and get started. Please, as always, let me know that you can hear me by typing into the chat that you can hear me okay. And we're going to just jump into it. This shouldn't be a super long stream, but it's always fun to do these little tutorials for people. So here we got an Eldar War Walker. I'm not worried about the guns yet because I don't know. They're magnetized, or they'll be magnetized, and I don't know which guns I want to use. So we got 3 of these guys to wash here. I'm gonna do a thin. Hold on, I got a hair. So basically, right now they're just airbrushed with a few different bronze colors from scale 75. Then they're sprayed from the bottom with a little bit of purple ink, which is a little subtle. And then a little bit of just pure silver on some of the kind of spot highlights on the top. So we're just going to do a straight black oil wash on them just to darken them up and pick out all the panel lines. I have some like kind of yellow brown colors that I might use on them as well after this dries, but I don't know. So we'll see how the black looks. Just pure black. I had it over here on the cardboard, and that should be good. So we'll just jump right into it. I'm using these little trays. I think my camera's a little messed up here. Using these little trays that I use always. They are available at like a dollar store called mini wavy trays. 12 pack for $1. And you can reuse them a lot. You can flip them over, use that side as like a palette. They're really good for pouring your paints into airbrush cups because they have that kind of curved spout at the side there. If you're interested in oil wash or oil painting, I highly, highly recommend Gamsol mineral spirits. This is, to my understanding, the absolute least toxic you can get. I used to work at an art supply store, and this was the one that we recommended. So, should be good to go. Sorry, I think my auto white balance was on. I don't know, it doesn't look, nothing looks quite great today, but hopefully you can see it okay. And then after we get these guys oil washed, I will matte coat them down and start painting them regularly. And then also, just a fun thing, I got these 2 little goblins who are ready to be matte coated because they are done. Just some little goblin squig herders. Nothing too exciting. But I'm saving them to matte coat them until after these are ready. That way I can just do it all at once. So in one tray, I'm just going to do pure Gamsol mineral spirits. I got a little pipette here. And then just, this one's just going to be my cleaner and for my brush, and then also for my Q-tips. Then in the next one, I'm going to put like 3 in, and we'll go from there. But anyway, yeah, you don't want to use the mineral spirits you can get from the hardware store because they are way more toxic than this. So you might as well save yourself some of the toxicity in your lungs since you're going to be breathing it in. I'm going to be using a soft natural hair brush, just like you've probably seen sets like this on the internet. It's probably claimed Kolinsky Sable or something. Of course, it's probably not. I have some real Kolinsky Sables, and this one seems very cheap. But hey, what's going on, Nick? Let me know if you can hear me okay. So anyway, I think a cheap soft brush is a good choice for an oil wash. If you have, the only reason I'm using this brush is also it's big, but sometimes I use my beat up, I use like a beat up size 6 ghost brush that I've been using for a long time. So you can retire some of your older brushes to this duty. Let me just type in the chat, make sure everybody can hear me okay. Oh, perfect. All right. So we're going to mix this up. I got like 3 pipettes of Gamsol in there. And this is just pure chromatic black from Gamblin. I think right off the bat, 3 pipettes of mineral spirits is probably too much. It seems like I'm going to be making a lot. This is the black I'm using, chromatic black from Gamblin. Just happens to be a black that I have. Gamblin is a nice brand, so. We're going to mix this black in. I'll save this since it's just going to be a purely black wash. So I guess we'll make a lot. See if I can't scoop that in. And I'm using this brush I don't really care about because I'm really trying to scrub it in there and really get it mixed in good. So I'm just going to mix it in, and hopefully we can mix out any lumps and chunks. If not, it's fine. We'll just wipe them away if they get on the model, or try to. My Eldar are all metallics and stuff, so just playing around with a lot of oil washes on them. And I've been playing around with the oil washes in general. They've been fun. While I mix this up, in a second here, I'll show you on my Deepkin that I did the oil wash on. They actually, when I matte coated them, got a little frosted in the red, which I don't know if I didn't give them long enough to dry before the matte coat, which is possible. But for whatever reason, they did. But it's not a huge deal because I'll be able to just kind of glaze over it, I think, with, some kind of dark red wash or something. Because it's all in the recesses anyway where shadows should be. So the reason I just put the paint on the cardboard here was to try to absorb out some of the linseed oil in the paint. I'm trying to get it mostly just mineral spirits here. We'll see how that looks in a second. Let me show you the Deepkin here. So these were the ones that I oil washed. And then they are matte coated. But you can look in there, see in there there's almost like a light blue staining color in that part of the cape. Yeah, so it got kind of this frosted look in the capes. I don't know why, even beneath there, but I'll be able to cover it up with just like a wash, because luckily it is in all the recesses, or just in the recesses, which means, that's where shadows go. So pretty much any color, any dark wash I put in there, hopefully covers that up and helps create the illusion of the shadow. So I don't know if we have enough paint in this. But we're going to, I don't know, we can give it a try. Good thing with oil paints is you can wipe them away. You can erase, basically. So these were all coated in the airbrush with glossy varnish from AK Interactive. My favorite varnish is the AK Ultra Matte, so I also picked up the gloss one, and I've been using it for this, and it's been good. So we're going to test this just on the rocks on the base. That'll be a good place to see what it does without putting it on the model. I think that's going to be good. That looks okay. I think that's good. Looks like it's going to stain it a lot. Okay. Cool. Yeah, so that should be good. We'll just start wiping that on. And remember, we can erase this. And it's nice because it's just going to fill in all the recesses. And then hopefully the black we can leave. I'll probably repaint those engines as something else. But I'm going to hit everything. I was debating if I should hit the Eldar guy or do him different. But yeah, like in these deep recess areas, we'll leave that dark. Like down here by his feet. Then we'll come back and wipe a lot of this away. And then hopefully bring back our kind of bronze color. You can see this kind of pure silver highlights kind of disappear with the wash, and then hopefully they'll be kind of blended together when we wipe away this wash. I don't want to go too crazy, but I'm not too worried about, you know, making sure I get paint on there. In fact, by the third one, I'll probably will get lazy and just start flooding the model. Just because, you know, it gets tedious when you're doing the same thing over and over again. Especially like a wash like this. Literally, I'm just cheating to put in all the shadows and kind of weather it a bit so it feels more like a chore than like an art thing. Like highlighting it after this stage is the fun part. Or prepping it for this stage was fun. But this part right here just is a little bit of like, oh, okay, I just gotta cover the model in this oil wash and then clean the model. And because these models are kind of large, I think I'm gonna actually maybe wash and then clean it right away. It has plenty of time, you don't have to, but because it's large, I think I'm actually able to just get it cleaned and set aside to dry. Cool, so I'll just set that brush down. So there you can see them side by side. So already it adds a lot of depth. Oh, totally missed a... Let's make sure we didn't miss any spots here on these fins. And on the legs, let's rotate them around and check. Cool. Alright, so I've said it before, these, I'm using the Equate cotton swabs. I've heard that the Q-tip ones don't leave behind as much like cotton strings, but these ones do, so you got to be a little careful. Basically, you're gonna roll it over, dab it on raised areas. it'll be left in the recesses. But it also leaves this like oil kind of sheen. Let me get him picked up. And if you have a part that's being a little difficult or you want to get more of it away, see how much that's coming apart? You can, yeah, you can dip this in the Gamsol mineral spirits and make it damp, which we'll probably end up doing on our second pass maybe. Yeah, just you could buy like a cheap natural hair set off of like an Amazon or an eBay or something that you can use as like your wash brushes. It's not a bad way to do it. You don't want to go too fast this stage because with these Q-tips, they can leave all this cotton behind, and it's kind of a pain. So what I'd rather do is, hopefully if I see it when it happens, maybe I can remove it now instead of waiting until this paint's dry. And you'll go through quite a bit of Q-tips. Don't be afraid to just toss them right when you feel like they're getting a little beat up or used. If you back the Ghost Brush Kickstarter, the dry brushes are soft enough to be like oil wash brushes. I've done some of the oil washes with the size 6 Ghost Brush as well. You could also look into like getting a cheap makeup brush set, because makeup brushes, the girls and stuff use them on their face. They're often very soft, oftentimes very soft, because they're being applied on the face. I think just the soft brush, usually means it's absorbent. Makes it a good choice for like a wash brush. Sometimes doing this roll motion, sometimes a wipe. You apparently don't have to gloss coat your model before you do this step, because the mineral spirits do not reactivate acrylic paint or nothing. I'm getting a lot of fuzzies on this leg. But because I'm going to be fairly rough, I mean not rough, but I am rubbing it with these cotton swabs, I think putting down that little extra protective layer is not a bad idea. Can't wait till I'm done with these cotton swabs though, because I really want to try the actual Q-tip branded ones, because if they don't fall apart as much as these do, I mean they fall apart right away, then that would be a game changer. So this is getting pretty close. Purposely not too worried about getting inside there, because I don't want to do anything with that area. I just want to leave it dark. It's a good speed painting technique. The deepest, darkest shadows area that's so not important. These fins will be highlighted and this thing, but back in here in this kind of engine-y area, I think we can just literally leave it mostly just darkened with the oil wash. I don't think people that paint like scale model tanks have to worry as much about all this fuzzy stuff coming off, because those models are generally really smooth, whereas like a GW model, they always cram in all this extra detail. Even though this is an older GW model, so it's not nearly as crammed as the new ones, but there you go. I think that's pretty good. You can see basically the armor has this like oily finish to it now. And I don't really see wet spots, I guess. That's what I'm looking for anyway. So what we use? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 7 Q-tips. So there he is. I feel like you can see the purple in the shadows more now too. So he definitely has a weathered finish to him. These metallics just don't show up super well on my webcam. But now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to dip a Q-tip in the mineral spirits. So this is a damp Q-tip. And I'm just going to roll it over the parts we want the brightest. Just basically this main carapace thing. Basically where I sprayed the silver in the beginning. Or not the beginning of the stream, but if you remember, I had the silver kind of hot spots on them. I'm going to try to clean those up. Almost so they're like really reflective. Try to clean him up. I don't know exactly what the Guardian's armor is going to be. So it'll probably be different than the machine itself, just so he stands out. But we'll wash him now just in case we decide to keep him the same. And using just the mineral spirit dampened Q-tip, I'll try to clean up the legs a bit. And these. Oh yeah, he's got all kinds of fuzzy stuff on him. I'm gonna have to hold him up to like against a black piece of paper and just pick off fuzziness. Alright, so I think that's one done. Just giving him a quick look over. If anybody's watching too, make sure you like the video for the YouTube algorithm. Trying to get I think I'm going to maybe get about a 3,000 point Eldar army done. Not in any rush, but I think for 9th edition I'm going to play the Eldar. But I'm not playing until they get a new codex. Because I believe 9th edition... Or I think the 8th edition codexes are just kind of like the index now. Because GW wants you to still be able to play on release, but I'm not really too interested in it until the new codexes start coming out, so no rush. But the plan is get the maybe around, well, of course the first plan's 2,000 points. But I think if I can get like 3,000 points painted up, that's probably enough Eldar for my collection. And then I'll probably just sell off the rest. Been debating on maybe doing a Sisters of Battle army at some point. But I'm not sure I really need another army, so the only way I'm doing a Sisters of Battle army is if I get rid of some of my other stuff. Oh, I do not really care for these Q-tip method. It leaves so many little... It leaves quite a bit of this cotton. I think I need to either... What I probably need to do is switch my Q-tip even faster. Maybe this one I used about maybe 10 Q-tips. Maybe I need to do about 20. But what up, Zach? How's it going? So there he is after the black wash. He's got just a lot more depth in his color. And then when we come back and highlight after he's been matte coated, if we even want to, but you know, picking out the gems and everything, some of them, probably not all of them, adds a lot to the model. So let's move on to the next one and get him washed up. So actually, I'm going to stir this up again just in case it's separating. Now I went a little more careful on that first one. I don't think I need to be as careful. It's pretty forgiving, so I'll probably speed through these a little quicker. A little faster on the washing and a little slower maybe on the cleaning. Or let's just say maybe faster on the cleaning too, but faster to switch my Q-tip out instead of using the same one. So yeah, Zach, tonight we're just using just chromatic black from Gamblin and Gamsol. No colors. You know, sometimes I like to mix. You know, I could have done like a black brown, but I really just wanted the black to do its work to try and panel line and darken any shadows and darken this kind of engine area underneath. This is one of those models, if you really wanted to paint it amazing, you'd probably have to leave it in, you know, the legs off from this top part, quite a few separate pieces really, because it'd be hard to reach all in this area. But I don't care because I'm confident I'll make it look pretty cool without doing all that. And the army together is going to look pretty cool. Hopefully if I play him in an event, I'll win Best Painted. That's always my goal. So hopefully I do a good job. But not competition level, like spending a ton of time on each model. I think we got him there. I think he's been washed pretty good. Put some under here. Probably can't see that. I think I'm blocking the camera, but just trying to stab this brush in those recess areas that might show up. Cool. So he's dirty now. And now we start wiping them clean. And once again, these ones are just dry. There's no second pass. I dampen them with a little bit of the Gamsol. It is kind of nice though. It just leaves this, oh my god, so many cotton strings. Leaves this nice, just, I don't know, almost natural sheen, I guess. It's just because any little sharp detail or any little piece of plastic with a little cut in it where maybe I was sloppy with my knife cleaning it. Now it's this little tiny area that just you see that? It just hooks these cotton strands right out of these Q-tips. I did actually clean, I think I was cleaning the Deepkin. I think I used just a paintbrush. I think I did it on that video. I think I honestly like doing that a little bit better. But I have all these Q-tips, so I might as well go through them. 23 Nacho, what's up, Richard? Yeah, this is, oh, let me read that comment real quick, Zach. So with the scale 75 paints in the airbrush, one of the painters at the local store I hang out at told me to pick up their specific thinner, which is this one, acrylic thinner from Scale Color. And I've used it anytime I've tried to airbrush with the scale 75 paints, including these. I mean, these are all metallic scale 75 paints airbrushed. And with that thinner, they work so smooth and good. So maybe try that thinner if you're having problems with them. I've never tried Watercolor. Oh, you know what? I should actually... Oh, that would have been smart. I do have makeup sponges. I should have been using those. Then I won't have to spend as much time cleaning these cotton strings off of my model. Yeah, Nacho, Richard, this is... So the oil wash is with just thinning down the chromatic black from Gamblin. You can use any black, and thinning it way, way down with mineral spirits. And the models are gloss varnished before I'm doing this step. Apparently you don't have to, because the mineral spirits don't interact with acrylic paint, dry acrylic paint. But I like gloss varnishing it because it helps it hopefully find the recesses. Plus, when I'm sitting here rubbing it with these Q-tips and stuff, I'm not worried that it's going to wipe off or rub off. Maybe the next one I'll try it with the sponge. I'll finish this guy with the Q-tips and then, or the cotton swabs. The next one, maybe I'll try to get the bulk of it, or the first pass, maybe I can do with a makeup sponge. if you're interested in like oil wash, a lot of oil paint, miniature painting techniques, the scale model guys use it a lot, like for painting tanks and aircraft and boats and stuff. Speeding up this process, or trying to go faster anyway, means I'm definitely leaving a lot of the cotton swab hairs behind. But we're going to go back and try to get those, so. Alright, so he seems pretty good. Now I'm just taking my cotton swab, dipping it in the mineral spirits, dabbing it on the cardboard to get some of it off, and using a damp one to further clean up some of the areas I hope are going to be left the brightest. Now I'm not trying to flood the model with Gamsol mineral spirits at this stage because that potentially would ruin the panel lining if it floods into those little panel lines and pushes the oil paint out. Yeah, Richard, I've been thinking I might start a Sisters of Battle army if I get rid of a bunch of my other stuff first. Still want to wait for new codexes, though, and who knows when Sisters will get a 9th edition codex, because they just got their 8th edition one not too long ago. But I'm not in a rush. But I want to do a... Well, the plan is I really want to do an army with the Cawdor models from Necromunda. So I was thinking of doing them like an iGuard army, because I already own a lot of iGuard models and tanks. But when those new Sisters came out, all their decorative stuff on their tanks and everything just fits the Cawdor models even way better. So it could look really, really cool. I guess for friendly games you could kind of use them for both, which is another thought, is I just paint up a bunch of Cawdor. In some games I use them as Sisters of Battle or whatever. In some games I use them as Imperial Guardsmen. Downside, though, being Sisters of Battle, I believe, are on 32 mil bases and Guardsmen are on 25. So I'd have to choose maybe which one they are for, like, if I was going to play them in an event, since I'd always have to be using whatever base size they're correct. You know, if they were all in 25s, then if I wanted to play them in an event, I'd have to play them as Imperial Guard. Alright, now we go through and try to pick off some of these cotton hairs. Yeah, I just bought that thinner because when I was asking about airbrushing the Scale 75, they said, oh, you want to use that one. So if you're having problems with it, that might be the fix. I thought, I thought maybe they were just trying to sell me the thinner, like, oh, you need to buy this too. But I'm happy with it. I have the airbrush, or the Vallejo flow improver, and thinner as well. I generally clean my airbrush with windshield wiper fluid. So that's like $3 for a gallon. Oh yeah, this scrubbing this guy with the cotton swab really left a lot of this hair on him. So the first one was probably a better approach so far as just going slower. I like doing the oil washes and stuff on the metallic paints too because it helps dull them down so they're not as glittery. Then you can selectively bring back that metallic shine with highlighting or dry brushing. This will work good on Space Marines too. The thing that makes Eldar kind of weird is, you know, they're these smooth, rounded surfaces. So you see a lot of people just shoot them with like a random airbrush honeycomb pattern or something. It's hard to make them look that interesting. Although, a fully painted Eldar army generally looks really cool. I hope 9th edition is the edition of updating a lot of the old lines, including things like the Eldar, Dark Eldar, even maybe some of the Orc kits could get re-hit. Like they updated the Sisters last edition. And obviously Space Marines are getting all kinds of new kits. But it would be nice if this one, instead of like, I mean, it would be cool to see like an Emperor's Children army or something like that. But it'd also be cool to just start knocking out all these fine cast kits, getting them just off the website and out of circulation because they're terrible. That doesn't apply to this little War Walker guy. He's actually pretty cool, but just for a lot of the Eldar aspect warriors, they need an update. And they really need updated rules too. They're pretty lackluster. Most of them are maybe even worthless. Alright, we're going to be picking these hairs off of this guy for years to come. But I think we got any major ones I see. Just hard to spot these little tiny cotton strands. Oh no, there's... It's weird, you find them on the flat areas almost more than the corners and stuff. Probably because I'm aggressively rubbing the flat areas thinking, oh, I can rub that more aggressively because it's flat. Cool. So I think he's good. So there we go. There's 2 oil-washed War Walkers. And then there's this guy who's not been washed yet. So it's quite a big jump in values. And then when we bring the highlights back, we'll bring some of it back to this lightness, but selectively, I think. I might just leave it kind of dark like this, because I think it looks pretty cool. Oh yeah, Tyranids too. They're one that could definitely use a big model update, especially their troops, their Termagants and Gene Stealers really could use an update. Termagants really could use an update. Lictors, things like that. I mean, it's always fun and exciting. Like, you know, we get the last edition. It was like, I think so. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it was like Custodes and Genestealer Cult were the new factions. Actually, no, I think Genestealer Cult came out at the end of 7th. But let's just say, for example, Custodes. It's like, okay, cool, we got Custodes. But, or like all those limited edition characters that they came out with. Cool, we got these like limited edition characters. But the person in charge of designing those could have been maybe working on the new Genestealer kit or the new Warp Spider kit. Something like that, that maybe is better for the game overall. And obviously a brand new kit of like, say, Warp Spiders with some decent rules, that's going to make them a lot of money for a long time. Whereas like a Happy Birthday, no, not even Happy Birthday, just a random special edition Catachan model or something. Yeah, they make a killing because they sell a whole bunch of them during that month or whatever, but then it's done. Putting out that new Aspect Warrior kit can make them money for a long time. Especially if you look at the Eldar. I mean, some of these kits have been around for like, I think 20 years. So if you make a kit and you can sell for 20 years, that's a good a good business, I think. But obviously they know what they're doing as far as it comes to making money. I think that comes down to us as buyers are just pretty much willing to buy anything that looks cool. We're happy to... Oh, that looks cool. I'll buy it. We'll give this guy the makeup sponge. See if we can save us some time on cleaning cotton swabs. I think we got him. Cool. Oh, let me grab a makeup sponge. Oh, Tyranids could also use a Lord of War. That could be really cool. Give the Tyranid Titan. Oh, also the Eldar. They should turn the Avatar into like a Lord of War. Oh, we're doing this little wedge makeup sponge. I literally have a lot of my auto settings off on my camera, so I thought, yet I see it flickering, so hopefully that's not too distracting for everybody. Okay, this sponge is way faster. Way better. I think it's way better in every way. And it's not leaving little strings behind. Darn those Q-tips. Why did I buy so many? I have so many. Like 3 packages of them because I thought I was going to be using them up. But I think the way to go is these makeup sponges. Shout out to the makeup sponge suggestion. These sponges might even be too good. They might actually be removing like all of it. Yeah, that was effortless. What the heck am I doing with these Q-tips? They're so worthless compared to this little sponge. And I'm pretty sure I can keep using it over and over. I probably could use this one sponge on all three of them because I could just re-clean it by cutting off the little tip. What a day. And I think he looks the same. We are going to actually, though, still give him the treatment with the damp Q-tip, where I'm dipping it in just the pure Gamsol. I'm just trying to clean the brightest spots back. One thing I think with Eldar, a lot of times they don't have a lot of weathering. But even like just say with vehicles in general, you can just create variation, whether that be like modulated highlights or some kind of variation of like a zenithal highlight on the armor. And then almost with like weathering and picking out details, you get to like finish the model instead of worrying about getting each panel or each section perfect. Like, I mean, I literally just shooting purple underneath, shooting different color bronzes on them, getting lighter, kind of zenithal, and then these kind of silvery hot spots, which are pretty hard to see on camera, but once all these like gemstones and stuff are picked out, it'll be enough interest in the armor plating and stuff that it'll look cool without having to actually have done much. And also, if you're watching this in the future, skip the Q-tip step and go straight to these little makeup sponges, and then maybe go back in with this damp Q-tip, because that one doesn't fall apart quite as much. And I believe I got these at Walmart, wedge applicator sponges. Oh geez, these are infused with vitamin E. I don't know if you want to get ones that are infused with vitamin E. Maybe it doesn't matter. I guess I should have read them. Yeah, they came from Walmart. That's funny. I guess they have vitamin E in them. So now my Eldar are healthy. They have healthy skin. Yeah, I actually picked these up, I think, because I've seen James Wapple rubbing his miniatures with these. He like rubs off the contrast paints and stuff. His I like watching his stuff, especially when I'm not painting on stream. Like just turning his thing on and listening to it while I paint, so it feels like I'm painting with somebody if I don't feel like listening to an audiobook or podcast. And sometimes he does some really cool stuff. So to clean my brush here, I'm just cleaning it in that pure Gamsol tray we had. And then giving it a squeeze and rubbing it into this towel. which is good. And then I'll actually take this over to the sink and wash it with Dawn dish soap. If you were like an oil painter and you painted daily or whatnot, you wouldn't really need to wash it with Dawn dish soap because your brushes can stay wet for days and days on end. But since as a miniature painter, my oil painting is few and far between, I guess, it's better I just clean out all the oil. Plus, I'm going to use that brush sometimes for acrylic as well, so it's better I just use Dawn dish soap and clean it all up. I was listening to James Wapple talk about in art school his teachers telling him to never put your paintbrush in your mouth. And I thought that sounded so insane because putting your paintbrush in your mouth is not a part of painting outside of miniature painting. Like when I took oil painting classes and stuff in college, there's never even a thought in anybody's mind of putting your brush in people's mouths. But he was saying that like in his school or class, the teachers would take your brush away, and it just sounded made up. I was like, what are you like, I've never, I mean, especially with oil paint, you don't want to put it in your mouth, but I've never heard of any painters outside of miniature painters put their brush in their mouth. Which I do, but only with acrylic miniature paint. And I'm not like those people that like void blend when they put a paintbrush in their mouth. Well, they'll like literally put a paint-covered paintbrush in their mouth to clean it off real quick. Where that sounds ridiculous. But after I rinse my brush in my water cup, so that I'm sure there's residue of who knows what, then I'll put it in my mouth just between my lips to repoint the tip. So, but he was talking about like digesting it, and it just didn't make any sense to me. Like, I just can't imagine you were in oil painting class or whatever, and your teacher was like, hey, you know this thing that nobody does outside of miniature painting? Don't do that in here. And he would have went to school so long ago, because I don't know how old he is, but he's definitely older than me. I'm pretty sure anyway. And because I think he said he has been painting for like 20 years or longer. So he would have went to school long enough ago that I just really can't imagine licking your brush was a thing back then until miniature painters really started doing it. So this is my, you maybe can kind of see there's some green and purple and black in here. This is my catch-all, basically oil wash. I'm saving it. It started with the oil washes I made for the terrain, then the oil washes from the Deepkin, and now we're adding the black from the Eldar War Walkers. And I think I spilled it last time on stream, if anybody watched that one. So that was exciting. So we lost some of it. But basically it's just, the majority is black. It's like, so now it's black, purple with a bit of green. I'll show you though. Let me shake it up a little bit. Hopefully I don't spill it, but here's just a paper towel. So I'd say that's pretty much just black. Maybe a hint of green, purple, I don't know. Can't really tell. But this is basically just going to be my generic dark oil wash for when I'm painting like a random monster for D&D or a character or a hero or something. So I don't even have to waste my oil paint, and it takes so little. And then for these trays, if you want to keep them, you can just use paper towels And basically one wipe with a paper towel and you got the majority of it out. And then just because I have one handy, I'm going to switch to the almighty Taco Bell napkin. Man, back on James Wapple, this was from the same video, but he's painting like this great eagle in oil paint. And it is really good. He really, like a lot of these professional, famous, in quotations, I guess, or at least famous in the miniature painting world, painters, you'll see them paint models and only a few of them add the amount of interesting color variation into their colors. Like I've seen some people, they'll paint like an angel or some monster with big wings, and the tip of the wings will be treated the same as the wings feather, or the tip of the feathers on the tip of the wing will be treated as the feathers close to the armpit. Whereas James Wapple, he added so many colors and variations into the feathers that it looks so good. So he's definitely worth checking out. And I really like that style of just getting a model, starting it from primed and painting it all the way through, and it basically being done in one night. It feels very, very satisfying. Well, I think that's it for the stream. It's 3:30 in the morning. I don't necessarily have anything else ready to go. I could start highlighting up. So these guys, back on them, they were oil washed. So basically base coated with washes and contrast paints, and mostly just contrast paints and washes. Some Turbo Dork metallic red. And then they were gloss coated, oil washed, and then matte coated, and I haven't touched them since. So I do have to clean up. I have to figure out what to do with these kind of chalky recesses I got on these red capes. Some of it looks really good though. You could see that red cape has light and shadow in it, but I have to clean it up a bit. But once I add the red highlights, it's going to look really nice. And I'm going to highlight them up so they're basically look like they're lit from above. So it'll be bright like that. You can kind of see dark. So he's dark from below, and then he's going to be bright from above. And then that way on the table, he looks like he's being lit by the sun. And we'll try to do some water effects and stuff on their bases. So I got these I got 10 of them. What I might do is maybe I'll start just painting them one at a time. Maybe do the wet palette and get them highlighted up one at a time. Or I think it'd probably be a little faster to just maybe highlight all their skin and then all their pants and then all their capes. But that way's much more tedious. So I don't know if I want to do that. I got to matte coat my goblins, but so these guys are matte coated, the squigs. I don't know what's going on with the color in my camera. What the heck? All those auto settings are supposed to be off. But I got to matte coat my squig herders. And then they're ready. I painted them up for Warcry. And then when we're done with Warcry, I'll probably just put them up on eBay as a fully painted Sigmar unit. There's 10 cave squigs and 2 squig herders. And lastly, I still got this guy. It's going to be so much fun to paint. Definitely excited to start working on him. I think I'm going to go with a white bull. So if you Google image search a white bull, they almost have a pinkish cream color to them with these really, really light kind of gray spots. They kind of have like that pink flesh tone, sometimes around their joints and stuff, or their fur's a little thinner, like armpits, stuff like that. So I think I'm going to try that, which I base coated a couple of the metals, but I think how I'm going to try to start that is maybe with the airbrush. I might just start airbrushing him with thin layers of like pinks and flesh tones, and hopefully it maintains some of this zenithal prime. So I kind of want to airbrush him on camera, but that means I have to basically cover this area with a t-shirt or something so I can airbrush him for everybody. It'd be much easier to just do it off camera, and then when I go to the paintbrush, I'll go ahead and paint him on camera, but I think it'd be cool to see. So we might airbrush him on camera, we might not. I don't know yet. Hey, Nacho, if you're still in the chat, Mr. Richard, is the airline, are the airlines in Arizona even, how dead is the airport? I don't feel like people probably aren't out and about, traveling out of Arizona anyway. Yeah, I was trying to think of how to paint him, and I was thinking maybe like a black bull, or maybe red or blue, like the thaumaturge. And then if you look at the kind of box art, he's got, I was thinking, I've seen some cool ones where you can tell he's brown on his back with kind of the ivory cream flesh tones on his stomach. So it'll be more in this range, but not dark brown on the back. So it's kind of close actually. He's got kind of the pink towards his hands and feet, kind of around the wounds, around his face. But I don't know. He's not quite. In this picture, it's close maybe, but not with all that brown. We're gonna try to do it's gonna be, the difficulty is gonna be making him look like an awesome white bull and not a milk cow or a dairy cow. So that's gonna be the fun part. Can we make him look, or even if we make him look like a really badass dairy cow, not like hokey with big black spots, but like try to approach some kind of realism, I guess. And I think that'd be hilarious, like the savage dairy cow ogroid. It's gonna be good times. I think that's all we got for the stream tonight. Thank you guys so much for watching. We got lots of stuff planned. I'm still getting some stuff painted, but one thing with, like, say when I was batch painting 10 of these guys, I just don't think it's fun to watch somebody. I mean, it's fun to hang out with each other and talk while we paint, but as far as a video, I don't think it's very interesting to watch somebody batch paint 10 models where I'm like, here's me doing this bow, and then this bow, and then this bow. So I think if we paint them on stream, the best thing to do would be maybe just finishing them one at a time. That's probably the way to do it. Yeah, the Holstein. There was a burger and shake place in the Cosmopolitan in Vegas called Holstein's when I worked at the Marquee nightclub. Good times. All right, I think that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe the video. If you want to pick up any ghost paintbrushes, please do so from the link in the description of basically all my videos. And if you're waiting on your Kickstarter, I'm working on it. So I got a few more boxes to ship out tomorrow. Thank you guys so much. Have a good night.